Yo, right here in the small box.
I'm heating up, I'm trying to burn down Toronto. Better keep 6 feet space, this 6-side shit contagious. Money coming in, all I see is numbers, like I'm in the Matrix. We've been in the trap.
Welcome back to Flex Mob Reactions, only on the Flex Mob Network. I'm Flex, welcome back to the channel. Back here with Luesta, finally. It's been a hot minute, bro. I don't usually catch the contact, but when I do, I'm tapped in. So let's go ahead and get started with this one, The Art of Self Snitching. I think the title is self-explanatory. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Hit that notification bell to get notified when I drop my videos or when I'm live, like right now. And let's get started with this, man. Let's go. Talk to me, bro. Let's see what you got. It's going to be a long video, too. Let's go.
Rap snitches, telling all they business. Sit in the court, they be they.
Nigga, what?
Rap snitches, telling all they business.
Don't do that.
Sit in the court, they be they own star witness. These immortal words were uttered by MF Doom and Mr. Fantastic in 2004, but they've never had more relevance than they do today. In the modern era, rappers have progressed from spinning tall tales about criminal activity all the way to modern drill scenes recounting the exact details of crimes as though they were filling out ready-made police reports. There are plenty of notable stories of popular rappers engaging in this ill-advised behavior. But while things like Bobby Shmurda reflecting on how Mitch caught a body like a week ago didn't exactly help anyone's case when the feds came calling, those bars were practically encrypted compared to how blatant some artists were when it comes to detailing their exploits. But sometimes, a throwaway line like that is enough to fuel legal drama. Prior to his untimely passing, Draco the Ruler's reference to having RJ tied up in the back on 2016's Flex Freestyle became important evidence during his first-degree murder trial. And based on what he'd given them, the prosecution then created their own narrative about his material while he was being held behind bars.
They were doing to you. They were going through all your music and saying this guy's violent.
Why you look so scared? Hey, you the one snitching on yourself, bro. Why you look so scared, bro? Why you looking all over the place? Relax, breathe.
They were doing to you. They were going through all your music and saying this guy's violent.
Hold on, let me help y'all out. Because these niggas be fools, bro. These niggas be fools, bro. Go ahead.
They were doing to you. They were going through all your music and saying this guy's violent. He's this, he's that.
You
all
okay,
based
buddy?
off of bits and pieces.
You doing okay? You doing all right? All right, I'm teasing. Entertainment purposes.
From your song.
They use their own interpretations of what they think something means, or because a lot of people don't know what I'll be talking about. Half the time, I don't know what I'll be talking about.
Right.
So it's like weird in court where you trying to tell me what I mean.
Right.
It's just weird.
Well, and on top of that, they were saying the Stink Team was a gang.
Yeah.
You were the leader.
I was the leader because of my name,
Right.
the ruler.
But where just one incident like this is enough to put you under the microscope of the law, some artists have made a whole career out of it. And while that kind of exposure might have made them blow up online, or given their careers a quick boost, it also blurred that line.
Y'all know it's just okay to lie, right? Just make the lie believable, bruh. Damn. Jesus.
Between real life and entertainment in both their music and media appearances. In fact, it's so common that it's led artists to be wary of doing interviews with people like DJ Vlad due to their tendency.
And this man's a whole fed. Y'all sitting there admitting it's to a fed, bruh.
To lead rappers to incriminate themselves on camera for the world to see.
Might hold you up to a hostage. You got a couple indicted. Realistically, you're a baiter. Of course you wouldn't say I got anybody indicted, but you fish. Some of my peers, some of the people that sat in this seat aren't fast enough, intelligent enough to know when it's
And where is Surf now? In jail, bruh. You snitched to a whole fed, bruh.
being swung their way. You didn't do it, but hell yeah.
If the police ever try to seize any sort of footage, I would deny it.
You don't got to. Go straight to YouTube.
And unfortunately, there are plenty of rappers whose careers were cut short when they learned that clout isn't always worth the consequences. It's your boy Luesta, and this is the Art of Self Snitching. If informing on yourself is truly an art form, then one of its pioneers comes from the mean streets of Brooklyn. And now, he may never place his feet on the outside world ever again. Referred to as the big homie in the streets, Raw Diggs was about as real as they came in the New York hip-hop scene. Through his high-ranking position in the murderous Mad Dog Blood.
But Raven, keep it a stack though. And first of all, what's good, bruh? Hope you're doing all right, but keep it tall right now, man. Keep it tall. Where is he? I'm just saying where he at right now, bruh. You could have avoided this, bruh. You know, everybody knows Vlad is a Fed, one way or another. And you just exposing the whole thing to him like that. Pause. Like, bro, why you sitting with him? Why you want to sit with him for? That's what I'm talking about, bro. Don't talk to him. There's a reason why all these dudes be getting latched up. And there's one common theme. They sit with Vlad. No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I can't. I'm not going to defend that.
Ra emerged from the Gowanus projects with verifiable credentials that made him a perfect candidate for a new voice of the city. And for a while, he was making big strides, even teaming up with rappers outside of New York, such as Waka Flocka Flame.
Talk about the music, man. I mean, the music, man, you know, basically we got the Vanguard movement that I'm doing, man. The company I started this year, I've been very successful. You know what I'm saying? For the past couple months, you know, I've made a lot of progress as being a novice in this business, you know what I mean? You know, we got the GMG movement. My son off. You know what I mean? A lot of people familiar with what he doing. You know what I mean? We got some big projects coming out of this whole camp. You know what I'm saying? And we got that collaboration with the British World. You know, myself, Waka Flocka Flames. You know what I mean? But we just out here mashing right now. You know what I'm saying? We're connecting all over the board. We got that Desperado project. That's all of us coming together, all of our separate entities becoming one. And we just mashing the game. You know what I'm saying?
As the audience gained an interest in him, Ra Diggs became an increasingly well-known public figure. But he never shied away from his gang affiliations and felt that there was a misunderstanding about what it really entailed.
You know, a lot of times people say, you know, they see me and they be like, damn, he's a highly intelligent brother. You know, this and that. You know what? You're not an ignorant dude. I can see you, but you're not ignorant. So it's like, yo, what are you a part of that? Well, I'm a part of this because of...
It's not really about Vlad putting him away, but it's like the info that they give on Vlad's platform. We all know the feds be watching. Everybody knows. It's not Vlad like, oh, there he is. No, I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm talking about when Vlad is a Fed. What I'm talking about is that the feds are watching. They be watching Vlad. That's what I'm saying. Like, through that, he's a Fed. He must have promoted his ish to the police. Talking about, oh, I be getting all these dudes to admit to their crimes. All y'all gotta do is watch and take notes. Like, what? What? What?
What it stood for, what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I had to express that to people. They be like, yo, damn, you know, you know, most of the people, they probably see in their neighborhoods have a negative reflection of what we stand for, which is not what we really stand for, and they look at that, and that's their whole perception. So sometimes somebody has to give them the real, you know what I mean?
But there was a downside that arose from all this new attention, and that's the fact that it wasn't just hip-hop fans who were taking notice of his lyrical content. On tracks like Eulogy, Ra discussed his fear of going back to prison, spitting,
I'ma wave the heat, I solemnly swear, before I let him give me 120 years, 120 years, imagine that there.
Later in that same song, he declares that, I'ma stop with all that. Too much information will make me my own rat. And unfortunately for Ra, he was about to be proven right when a massive 23-count indictment struck.
Accused Blood's gang leader and rapper on the rise tried to counter the government's claims that he's a lord who terrorized his own community.
As Ra was taken into custody, he was defended by his friends and allies who tried to undo the damage of his public persona.
The music is basically us talking about the life that we come from, not necessarily saying this is what I did. You know, this is a very intelligent man, and this is not a man who would commit all these crimes and didn't tell you for you to use it against him.
The music videos in and of themselves and the lyrics in and of themselves would never be proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But could it be something that a jury takes into consideration when they're weighing the credibility of other witnesses or weighing the credibility of other evidence? Absolutely.
But unfortunately, his bars and statements in interviews alluding to his life as a gangbanger were coupled with an FBI NYPD probe involving more than 65 undercover purchases. As the cops built their case, his songs with Murder Team rapping partner Uncle Murda were placed
Yo, Tiff, you don't have to say that.
in the firing line. However, his longtime collaborator claimed it was actual informants that really ensured he got locked up rather than anything he said on wax.
While he was out, were used to convict him, to put him back in prison.
They try to use some of the lyrics that he said in a few records that me and him did. They try to use some of the lyrics that he said and bring it up in the case. But they was already investigating, just trying to bring up on him. Because you know what it be, you have people that get locked up
in the neighborhood that he's from that knew him. They get locked up. They know his history as far as certain things that he might have been through. And then, they see him doing different things, and it's like a get out of jail free card. Get locked up and they start saying, well, I know he did this, or they say he did this before, he did this, and then you got a bunch of people that's trying to get out of jail saying the same thing. So it makes the feds try to build a case, because all they need is a couple people saying a few things about you and they can build a case, and that's what he got caught up in right now. So that's but they were trying to give him the penalty that just got. So that's some good news. He's no longer fighting. He's no longer fighting the death penalty. That's good news.
Among those lyrics cited in the case were lines like this from their slowed down remix, where Diggs spit, "I don't respect the shooter because he shot me in the legs, and 2 days later he was..." See, if he was smart, he would have shot me in the head, because I can't get you from my hospital bed. Now, this isn't exactly an unusual lyrical approach in hip-hop and could easily be written off as a fantasy, but when you've already got 23 charges against you and the picture of you as a hardened kingpin has been built, it's not exactly going to help either. And according to court papers cited in the Daily News at the time, this was no work of fiction. Back in the year 2000, Raw Diggs, whose real name is Ronald Herron, was shot by a rival but survived. Herron's associates allegedly killed the shooter 2 days later. He had already beaten a previous murder charge, but prosecutors suggested he was also behind the 2008 execution of Richard Russo, who was killed in a Gowanus Project's elevator, as well as the killing of Victor Zapata.
But why talk about that? I'm sorry, you guys are rappers. Why are your bars around this? Ain't nobody was even asking for this level of rap. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yes, I get it. They want to branch out. They want to be different from the average rapper. So they gonna talk about street life, which is a lane that at the time it wasn't really like tapped into. Like, everybody was talking about the theatrics with the street life. They weren't talking about like the nitty-gritty-ish. Valid. But your bars don't need to be wrapped around the shit y'all done, bro. What are you doing? You setting yourself up for failure. You don't have no longevity if that's the route that you want to go. Like, there's ways to structure these things. That's why, oh my God. Yo, having a vocabulary is so important as a rapper. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. There are better ways to paint these pictures. But y'all using pencil crayons and y'all are not using the acrylic paint that y'all are supposed to use. Which is why y'all getting caught so easily. It's crazy that I'm going to sit here and try to defend you knowing that you said you done killed about 16 different niggas in one song. And then you label the song Shootout. Go to jail, nigga. The fuck?
In a Witkoff courtyard the following year. And while Uncle Murda can't say for sure that everyone was pointing the finger at Diggs, there are verifiable examples where people did. One of the most infamous is Saquon Wallace, a former dealer and hitman, who claimed that Raw once convinced him to disguise himself as a woman, complete with makeup and a wig, to carry out a hit on a rival. Since
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Let me hear that again.
Himself as a woman. A former dealer and hitman, who claimed that Raw once convinced him to disguise himself as a woman, complete with makeup and a wig, to carry out a hit on a rival, since that same tactic had worked for Raw before. As his defense team struggled to build a case, Raw took the bizarre step of claiming he wasn't subject to US constitutional law, insisting instead that he was a sovereign inhabitant of the country. In response, lawyers pointed to various times where he had essentially told on himself, including a since-deleted tweet where he
Go to jail! Go to jail! Don't come back!
bragged about beating a body in a case he'd previously been acquitted of. With the deck stacked against him, Raw's very public
Yo, what's good, T-Dog? How you feeling, bro?
displays of his gangster credentials meant that it was easy for the court to hand down a crazy verdict of 12 life sentences, plus 105 years. And while this was everything he had hoped to avoid, even fellow rappers such as Myson believed that he ultimately knew what awaited him, given how he was moving.
We knowingly understand what comes with this. We want the lights and we want the glitter and we want this, but we understand the only thing that's promised is jail or death. Like, y'all want to glorify this and y'all want to do this, but when you engage in those things, you basically make a contract to give up your life at some point. Nobody knows when, but you give.
I'm sorry, what's the point of having your goatee that thin? This nigga got a malnourished goatee, bro. Cut it off.
Up your life.
And in retrospect, some of those bars on tracks such as Eulogy seem to support the notion that he knew where he was headed and had begun to come to terms with it. Given how prophetic the song was, I can only imagine Raw was already seeing the writing on the wall at this point, under surveillance, receiving indictments, etc. Now 12 years into his first life sentence, Raw Diggs holds the special distinction of being the first rapper residing in ADX Florence, the US's only supermax prison. He shares a home with some of the most notorious criminals in the world today, including founding members of the Aryan Brotherhood and convicted terrorists. In fact, it's so feared that even former wardens have spoken out about how brutal this prison, where they're held in solitary for 23 hours a day, really is.
Exclusive interview, a former warden and a former inmate tell us death is easier than life at the federal supermax.
It's as isolated as the prisoners who call it home. The prison, called ADX Florence, is a tomb for the living.
Despite the regular campaigns to free him that you see online when a rapper is incarcerated, the likelihood of Raw coming home anytime in the next century is very slim. But he's not completely given up, and is still showing his prowess with the bars during rare contact with the outside world.
Talk to Tory Lanez, he'll fix that up. The key is to keep it hyperbolic with some of that ish. The justice system doesn't look great in this video as well. See, Josh, I don't disagree that the justice system doesn't look good, but at the same time, we know about their quotas now. We know about their quotas, so to be fair, if they're just out there giving the information to them pretty much, why are we surprised that they pouncing on them? Y'all throwing the info out there and knowing that they need to get about 3 more people in jail. Let's go check out. Let's see what kind of new music is out today. Let's see what we can find. Bro, what are we doing? Why are you snitching on yourself, period? What happened to the golden rule? Don't snitch, don't talk, don't say nothing. But y'all want, boy, don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started because I'm going to say something bad. Why are you snitching, period? That's all I want to know. Because that you're not smart for doing that. You want to have a long rap career, but look at what you're saying. That doesn't make sense. You can rap about literally whatever you want. You just got to make it compelling enough, have a good story behind it, and let your bars speak for you. These guys out here letting the crime speak for them. And then wonder why they in prison. Okay, buddy.
Yet for every case like Diggs, there are others where there was at least a light at the end of the tunnel after it all went down. Among those who actually managed to escape with their life intact after a lengthy bid is Cali rapper X-Rated. A notable member of the Garden Block Crips, he was active in both the streets and the studio all at once. But shortly after his debut album Psychoactive was released, his own music would be used against him, tying him to the home invasion of Patricia Harris, the mother of a rival gang member. She was shot through the heart in March 1992 when gang members stormed her home looking for rivals, and police claimed that the rapper was the ringleader. On his part, X-Rated maintained it was all set up and that he wouldn't have purposefully killed the rival's mother because the code among criminals forbids it.
I don't have no indictment for gang culture. I'm not that person. I don't think that's the correct method for gang diversion anyway, to tell you to hate something you love and then think we don't have a conversation about me changing my life. That wouldn't work for me. So all I can say is just that these people called and said this was an error. That wasn't something someone intended to do. And if it had been a house full of gang members, hey, I'd be on bro, you know, because I would have happily all of them. That's where I was at with my psychology. I would have done that. I thought that was perfectly acceptable behavior.
However, not everyone agreed, and before long, everything he'd ever said or done was helping to build a case. Due to a line on his album, which spoke of kicking doors down and mamas, prosecutor Pete Harnd argued that this was
What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Look at the crime and then look what you... Are you serious? Are you serious right now, bro?
I would have happily all of them. That's where I was at with my psychology. I would have done that. I thought that was perfectly acceptable behavior.
However, not everyone agreed, and before long, everything he'd ever said or done was helping to build a case. Due to a line on his album, which spoke of kicking doors down and mamas, prosecutor Pete Harnd argued that this was practically a prediction of the slaying of Patricia Harris. When the music was played in court, prosecutor Pete Harnd said he could see the victory in the jury's horror. Determined to keep it real, X-Rated admitted to being a gang member when...
Yo, bro, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? This is ridiculous. This makes me so mad. This makes me so mad. I swear to God, this makes me so mad, bro. What are you doing? Like, Jesus God.
When on the stand, with Harnd later commenting that he was speaking honestly at least, but I don't think it was necessarily a wise course of action. Although he said that he could have testified and gone home, X-Rated left it in the hands of the court. This turned out to be a mistake, as the mostly white middle-class jury...
He did time with Mac Dre? Jeez, bro. And to your point, J-Tom, don't snitches usually get stitches. Here's the thing. What if the snitch came from, like, what if the snitching came from the source? So in that point, what do you say? Because someone that snitches usually is somebody that's snitching on somebody. But what if the snitching is actually the source? What do you do then? You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if snitches get stitches. What if the person that's snitching is the source? Who getting the stitch?
was clearly offended by his music. According to Harnd, it may not have been the reason they convicted him, but it played a powerful role in shaping their decision. Another thing that was used to ensure his conviction was the cover of Psychoactive itself, with cops and investigators claiming that the caliber of the pistol he held to his head matched the one he used in the murder.
The cover photo shows X-Rated holding a gun to his own head, taken weeks before the Harris. This is similar to the types used in the Harris shooting. Detectives cannot find. Sacramento County DA officials may subpoena the record company for the unreleased recording.
This hysteria came not only from what they witnessed, but also from the songs they included on the project.
17-year-old rap singer X-Rated is one of 5 teenagers accused in the murder of 42-year-old Patricia Harris. Just 2 days before the X-Rated finished this recording. The lyrics of the song called The Murder are hauntingly similar to the fatal shooting of Patricia Harris. Part of it goes, I'm knocking down doors, I'm mamas, daddies, nephews, I'm daughters, sons, and sparing you. William Harris, the surviving husband of Patricia, is confused by it all, but he says the song and the murder of his wife may be related.
And they used the album for conjecture that was the weapon, because they didn't find a weapon. There was no way to ever say it was. Nobody said it was, so they really just used it to say, see, here he is holding a...
Right, because on the cover, it has you pointing a to your head, and they're trying to say that this was the same type of that was used.
Right, which is just conjecture.
But they never found the actual weapon.
They never found the gun.
Sentenced to 31 years behind bars, X-Rated had a tough life in prison, where he almost lost his life when a corrections officer allegedly put a hit out on him. But in his version of the story, he handled the situation before it could go left.
And so my instincts is too close. I went.
Do you see how they set him up? Do you see how they set him up, bro? This nigga set up so bad, bro. It's one thing to have the weapon on your head on the album cover, but to use the same thing, oh my God. They said, here, take it. This man's like, all right. Yo, you can't make this up. The man got set up, bro.
Straight at him and bap, bap, bap. He got dropped, and it turns out that was the person that had that the primary weapon that would have been most harmful. And so now everybody else is...
As long as he did his time, but like, I literally just see the way they set him up, bruh. It's like they set him up for failure from the start and you didn't even realize it, bruh. Oh my goodness. It was probably from a song he made before the crime. No, that's exactly what the song is. It's before it. Before that happened. But you see how everything is threaded together. Do you see how everything is threaded together? And keep in mind, he said himself, psychologically, he was in that mode to be a shooter. He said that on the phone. He said that psychologically, I would have happily done that. He didn't know in the moment, bruh. He didn't know. They set him up for failure. Oh, I'm so thankful I can pay attention and really weed this thing out, bruh. It's crazy. This is crazy.
Is thinking now, and you're supposed to run. Somebody pulled a knife on you, you're supposed to run. But Barry and Dooney and others, I knew that's if you turn your back, you done.
Yeah,
you gotta make it. We gotta do this, and in doing so, you can look that man in his eyes, Kev. And I got a couple scratches and scrapes and bruises, but ain't nobody damn near nothing. Damn, that's a lie. And so the reason they think that lie is because when I was getting, so I'm in the room and they looking, they examining, and I got a motherfucker asking me questions, and the cops are mad about it. The nurses and shit are angry at this dude, and they like, hey man, excuse me, and they work, checking out to see if I'm in mortal danger right now. And he's like, who did it? And so I close my eyes and lean back. I swear to God, I swear on my mother's life, fully conscious, fully fucking fine, other than these scratches and what adrenaline through the roof. I don't feel no pain.
But as you could probably tell from that interview, it wasn't conducted over the phone or in the pen. After spending 26 years in the penitentiary for a crime he didn't commit, X-Rated was released. Miraculously, his music career isn't even over either, with the rapper signing to Tech Nine's Strange Music following his release. 26 years in jail, now signing a national deal, and performing in front of thousands across the country. Good for him. You know he is as happy as can be. Given his talents on the mic, there was always a feeling that the conviction robbed the scene of a potential star. But
bro, think about it. Let me break it down, because like I already seen it that way. Everything, the whole setup, the whole picture of what happened and of the person that he is in that moment, saying how he would have been done that, how he would have did this. It's not necessarily about like what actually happened. Remember, when you're in court, it's not about what actually happened in the moment that brought y'all here. It's about what's more believable. What's more believable. And whatever picture that these individuals have painted is the exact reason why he was sent away to prison. Just think about that in a second. Like, just think about how nasty these things can get and how evil these things can get. I remember this song lyric. I think it was on Chaining Day. Came out not too long ago. Have you ever had a lawyer? Have you ever had two lawyers working the same case? Two separate lawyers in a courtroom working the same case, but they're working it in their favor and not your favor. Because they just want their payment and to be done with it. You understand how crazy that is, bruh? There's so many variables and so many aspects that can go into somebody going to jail for the wrong thing. And if the picture looks clear enough, it's bye-bye. It's bye-bye to the regular world. Cause you're gonna be behind the bars, and the world behind the bars is a whole new world. Just think about that. It's crazy. I already know because I pay attention to stories like this, a lot of them in the past. It's been a while since I read, listened to anything like this, but the reason why I'm sitting here just disappointed, frustrated, fed up, angry, but I'm laughing, like, I've seen this too many times. This is ridiculous.
For other notorious individuals who had a tendency to tell on themselves, their ability to self-snitch always outshined whatever they had to offer as an artist. Here, we have the story of A.R. Ab. When it comes to perfecting the art of snitching, the most prolific of all time might be Philly's A.R. Ab. A member of the OBH crew alongside Dark Low, A.R. Ab was beating murder cases from 2005 onwards, and even survived being shot 10 times in 2011. The only problem was that at times, it felt like every time you pointed a camera in his face, he was going to confess to a whole bunch of crimes that you didn't even know he was responsible for. At times, he even ratted on his friends without thinking anything of it.
You cowards, man. Come see us, man. I swear to God, you come down this block, your shit gonna get filled up with so much smoke, nobody gonna make it off the block. I promise you, you won't make it off this motherfucker. Block, man. Anyway. On everything I love, you come up on us, man, you're not gonna make it. Niggas gonna blow your shit clean off, man.
Over time, this became a reputation that basically made him a meme in hip-hop, with full compilation videos being devoted to times where he spoke without thinking.
I already took 13 shots, and I don't know what it's for, you know why? Because I kidnapped, I robbed. I'ma get it. I'm the type of dude I can't be broke. You see, I got this whole building, I'll fix this shit up from what? I don't make no money off rap. I extort people. So it's one of my hustles. Got shot a lot of times behind it.
Although he was generally a regional star, A.R. Ab propelled to global fame by being referenced on Drake's Meek Mill diss track, Back to Back. As he spit, I drove here in the Wraith listening to A.R. Ab. Suddenly, it looked like he might be progressing from mixtapes to making major money in rap.
Did that kind of change people's perception of you?
Yeah. So like now everybody kind of like take me serious now. You know, you gotta understand, like a lot of people know my street reputation. So they whole thought process of me is Ab don't really rap. He just out here running around with acting crazy. When Drake mentioned my name, it opened up a lot of ears who didn't know who I was. Now they say, you know what, listen to his music. It kind of made me say, I'm gonna take this shit serious, man.
Although he was grateful for the legitimacy that this brought to his career, the problem was that it placed
Drake shouted him out? Hold on, let me get that right.
Oh, acting crazy. When Drake mentioned my
Drake shouted out A.R. Ab? What do you know about A.R. Ab, bro? Who taught you?
Name, it opened up a lot of ears who didn't know who I was. Now they say, you know what, listen to his music. It kind of made me say, I'm gonna take this shit serious, man.
Although he was grateful for the legitimacy that this brought to his career, the problem was that it placed a greater spotlight on him.
Bro, I am trying my hardest to get away from the name Drake, and it still shows up in a random video that I click on. That is crazy.
And the cops had plenty of material to work with from his high-profile interviews.
I made a lot of money on the streets. Not like Lord Big Meech money, but like I made hundreds of thousands of dollars on the streets. You feel what I'm saying? I got little cousins and little brother who's already just people. You understand what I'm saying?
What?
We had a rap group of like 4 or 5 artists, man. 2 of them in jail for right now. 2 different murders right now. And these happen to be the same guys I was with when me and Cassie got locked up for the murder. These is my rap group people. And it got that nasty in the streets, whereas though.
Following the biggest name drop of his career, A.R. Ab's momentum would be brought to a crushing halt. This was following an indictment based on his role in a trafficking ring. Amid the offenses that he faced, police pointed to one of his tracks as evidence, linking him to the murder of rival dealer Robert Johnson. I'll have the whole city scared. Stand near the home. I called Taz and tell him, bring that dude's head to me. Later, A.R. Ab's associate Dantes Taz Dewar ultimately pleaded guilty to Johnson's murder. After the court had heard all the evidence, he was handed a sentence of 45 years. And according to legal experts, his team didn't make things any better for him.
And what happened at ARAB's sentencing?
Why am I seeing lawyers for hire right now? Jesus Christ, where am I?
Was a tragedy. The judge, before he announces the sentence, says, "Young man, you've been sitting in my courtroom listening to the statements of the victims, listening to the prosecutor discuss your crimes, and the entire time you've had your hands folded like this, dismissive and jeering. You don't look contrite. You don't look like you respect this process. I have the ability here today to give you a range of sentences."
I want y'all to hear that again.
Dismissive and times, and the entire time you've had your hands folded like this, dismissive and jeering. You don't look contrite. You don't look like you respect this process.
Just think about what this man is saying in the moment, how you don't look contrite, how you're not respecting the process. Your body language is showing you're sitting there like this. That's just proof that court and being in court is performative. It's performative. You're playing a part. You're playing a part. If you really believe that you didn't do it, or this is what you believe in a moment, like, nah, I didn't, no, I'm not guilty. I'm not guilty. You would sit there and you would look depressed. You would look sad a little bit. And then your lawyer's job is to take that, is to look at you in this moment, look at the facts that he's brought together, and try to paint the picture their way so it makes it look like you're innocent in that moment. It's all acting. It's all acting. Now, when it comes to simple court cases, no, it's open and shut. Because the facts are going to let you know wagwan in the moment, right? If somebody got something wrong, you take them to court. Simple, done, easy, you know? No, I have these papers that say otherwise. They don't got them papers. Okay, bet, we're done here. Boom, you owe him. But when it comes to ish like this, let me tell you something. This is like the Disney Channel, bruh. This is like the Disney Channel for adults when you're in court. You understand me? You know? It's all acting. It's crazy.
I have the ability here today to give you a range of sentences. It could be anywhere from, here to 45. And what I'm gonna do, based on your behavior here today, I'm giving you the max. And if I was AR's lawyer, I gotta be in tune with my client, right? I gotta, before he goes in there, let him know that, bro, keeping it real goes wrong. You think you're gonna go in there, you're gonna stand tall. They won't break you if you act contrite. They'll break you if they give you another 20 years.
Now facing 4 decades in jail, AR App's story shows what happens when you spend too much time trying to convince the world that you're running the streets rather than continuing with business in silence. And now it feels like all the posturing was for nothing. He was so adamant to prove he was real too. 45 years. Everyone and everything you cared for is been gone. For what? For so many of these young men, it often feels like they were products of their environment. At times, they even momentarily seem like they might uplift it after their difficult beginnings in life. But for someone like Atlanta's Rollo, his journey has been a roller coaster, and his tendency to incriminate himself certainly didn't help matters. Raised by a single mother, a young Rollo would end up homeless between the ages of 12 to 14. His father was making money in the streets as a drug dealer, but that didn't help him, considering that they didn't have a relationship. Despite them being distant, Rollo ended up entering into the same line of work as his father, and by the time he was 16 years old, he had been detained in juvenile detention centers 32 times for selling drugs and shootings.
Whoa, say that again, please.
Rollo ended up entering into the same line of work as his father, and by the time he was 16 years old, he had been detained in juvenile detention centers 32 times for selling.
At 16 years old, you've been in juvenile detention centers 32 different times? Nigga, stay there.
Drugs and shootings. After he envisioned a better life as an MC, Rollo used his connections to not only maneuver his way through the streets, but to get his rap career underway. At the age of 19, he dropped his debut project, Famerican Gangster, with the help of his friend Young Scooter. Through his mentor, he got featured with the likes of Future on Can't Lie, and eventually, he'd be rubbing shoulders with the likes of Gucci Mane and 21 Savage. Meanwhile, Rollo used his status as a real street sweeper to garner a status as a hood legend, and this enabled his operation to surpass whatever his father would have imagined during his days slinging drugs. But the problem is that he wanted everyone to know about just how much he'd come up in the world, even if a lot of the proceeds weren't always gained through legal means.
Look up Google, and they say my nickel $500,000. Hey, listen here. The apartments cost $2 million, nigga. That car cost $500,000, nigga. That here Academy vet, nigga, I paid.
Put your money in the bank. You're not smart enough to have that money on you. Put that money in the bank, bruh. And you wonder why they be getting robbed out the wazoo. Put that money in the bank. What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't know the strategies to keeping the money outside the bank. Why would you do that? Make it make sense. I don't care how it looks stacked together. Talking about they're gonna make pyramids out of money. Yo, bro, Put that money in the bank, bruh. Put it in the bank. Get your phone. Download one of them crypto apps. Download one of them stock apps. You got rich connections. You got rich friends. Get info from them. I'm not talking about no stock information. I don't do that here. This is all for entertainment purposes, just for protection. My point is, you got people in high places at the level that you at. Your label can put you in front of those people to get you the info you need to invest your money correctly. Put your money in a bank, and when you put it in the bank, take some of it, invest it. That's your alternative bank account when you put away your investments. Do that, triple your money. If you're going to keep your money outside the bank, buy gold. Don't keep no damn bills on you. That's stupid. Buy gold, keep it on you. The one thing I know about when it comes to gold is that it's always going to have value no matter what. Now, the value fluctuates. But when its value is up, your money is going to skyrocket. Go buy some bricks. Use your brain. Keep the money off you. Go buy some bricks. Lock it up in your place. Whatever mansion you got, lock that up. Because that's your currency right there. Gold bricks. If you want to keep cash on you like that. You know, some dudes, they buy gold chains for a reason. Because once you sell it, you can get some more money from what you originally bought it at. That's why I see some people with them gold chains. Don't buy nothing sparkly. Because them diamonds are plastic. Just made to look like diamonds. Take in how easy it is to make a diamond. Think about that. To make a fake diamond, it's easy as hell. And it costs almost nothing. But when it comes to gold, you can't fake that unless you buy it from some idiot. Go get yourself some gold, bruh. This is ridiculous.
$100,000 piece for them bitches. I was the first nigga in the city with them motherfuckers. So you need to go on and tell Google, stop lying on me.
Attempting to launder some money he was raking in, Rollo bought an entire block and owned 26 apartment units while giving a percentage
the IRS gonna sweep that.
of his money back to his community.
We godly men. We sit up here and we pray. We ain't on no shit. We ain't selling no dope over here in the apartments. I'm Mr. Dog Food. I been did that. Ain't gotta do that again in my life. You can down there call this a homeless shelter if you want to.
But when he wasn't overseeing his empire, Rollo was known to run his mouth about the inner workings of it all in a way that couldn't help but raise eyebrows amid law enforcement.
I was the biggest drug dealer in the bluff for a long period of time. I had the Bluff and I had Simpson. I had the best.
Nigga, you look like the Cookie Monster. See why you can't give these dudes money?
Quality drugs, and I also had large quantity for a lower price. You know what I'm saying? So I was out beating all my competition around the way. And like I said, I had all my dudes. We just built this drug empire.
And when asked if he had any regrets, Rollo insisted it was simply all he knew. As entertaining as Rollo's interviews were, this was part of the problem for him. Where real G's move in silence, he was doing the opposite of keeping a low profile and was often caught self-snitching. Due to essentially taking the stand on his interviews, it didn't exactly keep the police off his back. So even when he tried to go legit, there was still a target on his back, and his tendency to flex his money really didn't help. Plus, the fact that he had a habit of mocking the cops for their impoverished lifestyles compared to him probably made him an even bigger target for law enforcement.
They be at home like, damn, I ain't gonna never make it in life. Like, how you gonna ever make some money on this? But you agree? I think if you arrest somebody, that shit like murder. You f***ing somebody. Look at here, old pussy ass, get on the phone, call his boss. His bum man probably make $45,000 to $48,000 a year. He gotta say yes or no sir to him. Shit, he might well come work for me. We got the dog food. Now accepting application, officer. We're now accepting applications. But we tell them, our shit, pop shit. We can't stop shit. Please, not in one bit.
Y'all reciting nursery rhymes? Serious? In front of the police, you reciting nursery rhymes? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This ain't real.
I cannot hear. Every day of my life, I wake up 10, 20 $1 million. What you wake up to? What you got? 10,000, 20,000 in your account? Even if you saved up that within a 5-year span,
and eventually, his luck would run out when his private plane was caught pulling into DeKalb Peachtree Airport with 444 pounds of marijuana on it. In terms of street value, that's around $1 million worth of weed. After he was taken into custody, Rollo was held without bond, but he wasn't going down without a fight. And soon, his manager Queen told the media that he was being unfairly persecuted.
America is the record label that Rollo started. He started that so that he'll be able to sign artists. He signed himself to put out his own music.
And there are a lot of different allegations brought against him. Possession of drugs with intent to distribute.
That Gucci look good on her, don't it?
Allegations of being affiliated with a gang, and 2 different incidents where police are saying they found marijuana with the street value of nearly $2 million. It's a lot that's written in the documents. You know, what's your response to all of that?
The sad part is I don't understand why when black people come together, it can be considered a gang. Just because I love my brother and I want to be around my brother, why is that a gang?
She goes on to say the artist may have been targeted because of his unapologetic music.
He has been targeted because of his song, because of his lyrics, because of his faith.
His Instagram is also mentioned in the complaint documents. What was your reaction when you saw that they actually quoted an Instagram caption?
I mean, everybody knows that Instagram is for entertainment. How many people that you know put on a show for Instagram? Everyone.
Despite the fact that he was facing a very grim future, Rollo refused to roll over. And when the cops tried to get him to cooperate, he wasn't having it. In an IG post in 2019, his team revealed that the government offered him 5 years on his birthday. He smiled, laughed, got off the—
Hey, Furry B, that's good to know, bro. Quickie, let me tell you something, bro. There are ways to getting clean money into the bank, okay? Now, if the money dirty, clean it. He knows what he's doing. Okay? He's holding all this money to drop it off. We're not stupid. He gonna drop that shit off, bro. Clean that shit. Put it in the bank. Use it. Put it in investments. Or there's other ways to taking that money and investing it other ways. There's other ways to invest that. You just got to know those proper sources to utilize in moments like that. There are ways to make it happen. Now, what I'm speaking about is strictly for entertainment purposes. Don't get that twisted. Everything that I am talking about could be fictional. That's all I'm saying.
The phone with his lawyer and fed his entire dorm bags of commissary. But ultimately, he hit a stumbling block to freedom in 2020 when his bond was revoked. After prosecutors presented evidence that Rollo had continued participating in the distribution of drugs following his arrest in this case and while in custody. Apparently, the mother of Rollo's children had written notes that the prosecutors were able to obtain, which said things like, save up every dollar you receive from grandma and keep count of all the kids at dad's house, so you can know how much you got at all times. A separate set of documents allegedly had values for ounces of food, and a note that every ounce is 28 grams. Those documents demonstrate defendant Davis's efforts to continue distributing narcotics after his arrest in this case, the prosecutor wrote. There simply can be no other conclusion from his efforts to establish pricing and distribution for 8 balls and grams, his instruction against the use of shake, and his warning to be wary of law enforcement listening. Knowing he was caught, Rollo eventually pleaded guilty to various charges, leading his sentence to being reduced from 97 to 20 months. Released in 2023, he emerged and immediately took aim at those people who had snitched on him while defending notable YSL informant Lil Woody. What about all 17 of them informants that told the feds I shot and killed over 8 people? Rollo began his message about legal woes. Y'all ain't on social media asking—
I know that's not how you spell y'all. I know that's not how you spell y'all. That's crazy.
Them for page 8, or going at them like y'all going at Lil Woody. I see y'all still with them every day. Now seeking to rebuild his career, there are some who would argue that Rollo got off slightly if he was truly a kingpin. But others felt that his journey set a poor precedent, leading to not only his own downfall, but that of others who looked to emulate him. Coldest part is that a lot of the young-minded hustlers saw it, tried to mimic it for social media, and then got indicted for copying his footsteps. This is exactly how the OGs didn't move. Clout is a hell of a drug. There are grounds for this, because sometimes rappers aren't even established when they begin to incriminate themselves in ways that prove unsalvageable. For a brief window in time, Hop Out Blick was believed to be the next big rapper from Philly. He even hailed from the same neighborhood as the late P&B Rock.
Oh, like Rock was definitely
The whole community living rent free. All jokes aside, though, all of this is more of a sociological conversation than it is a psychological one. But I know that's an entirely different conversation, bro. When we even get into the sociological part of this, bro, it's game over for this live because we're gonna be here for another 3 hours. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
Like a big inspiration, like no bullshit. Like bro, definitely like motivated. You feel me? Like he showed niggas like we from the same block, so like he showed niggas like yeah, like shit possible. Like just could do that shit. You feel me? Like growing up and shit. Like we watching that shit really like evolve type shit. You feel me? So like that shit different, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
And despite his own errant moves, he advised others to stay far away from the street life he'd led.
So before we get out of here, what's just a message that you can give to the youth?
I'm gonna keep it a being, like to all the little niggas out there, like that fuck with me, like don't hop in the streets, like real shit, bro. Like that shit not thorough, bro. Like don't let a crowd influence y'all, no bullshit. Like don't let nobody influence y'all to do some nut shit that y'all know. Like you feel me? Like go to school, bro. Real shit, bro. Like this shit ain't fun, bro. This shit scary. Like I'm.
Respectfully, you're gonna say that, but you're gonna go back to doing the same thing. What a lot of people need to understand: if you want to convince somebody to not do something, don't tell them not to do it because they're going to do it. You need to break down the exact reasons as to why this is a bad idea for you. List the pros, list the cons, and let them know that all of this that's happening here is going on. The feds are watching you like God. You're cooked from the start. Because they got eyes on you from when you enter and when you exit. And you will never know.
18, bro, and look at my situation.
But clearly, he didn't take his own advice, and before long, his crimes and his decision to chronicle them in his music would catch up with them. On the evening of April 28th, two separate cars of young men pulled up to a house with the intention of making a deal for a gun worth $1,000. However, what the naive salesman didn't realize was that Blick, alongside 23-year-old Tyree Lennon and 17-year-old Khalif Fresky, had no intention of spending any money that day. Once inside the house, things turned volatile, and it eventually devolved into a shootout between the rival crews. By the end of the battle, 3 men were dead, and another had to go to the hospital with a bullet wound in his abdomen. When police arrived on the scene, they discovered the body of 14-year-old Salah Fleming in the doorway, while 17-year-old Malik Bellard was found unresponsive on the sidewalk. Although it's unclear exactly what took place and who shot who, Hop Out Blick's crew took a loss too, as Khalif Fresky, otherwise known as Leaky, was found on the front porch. Soon, a warrant was issued for the arrest of Hop Out Blick, but he had no intention of turning himself in. When you're trying to evade the police, the strategy is usually to keep as much of a low profile as possible. Instead of keeping his head down, Hop Out Blick kept dropping music. While that's inadvisable enough, what sealed his fate was that the tracks he was dropping were basically a signed confession to the crimes. On the track Took a Risk, for example, Hop Out basically gave a play-by-play of what went down that day, and even had the audacity to name his fallen victims. Over the course of the song, he declared that Salah felt on his chest and then he started spitting up, and Leaky got left on the sidewalk. He ain't getting up. Later, he continued to disrespect, spitting, "We got 2 new Vics. We call them Double L for Law and Leaky." Later claiming that them dudes died because they ain't give it up, and he said he was a risker. He took a risk trying to meet with us. They got ghost Glocks with fake buttons. They can't beef with us. Blick was really upping the disrespect, rather than trying to outrun the warrant. Soon, he doubled down with Double Coffins, a track which celebrated the death of 2 men and basically told the story of what happened. They just trying to catch a shooting. Them young boys died for playing tough, said Blick. Later adding, "Them young boys thought that we were cool, and then we double-crossed them." Incriminating as this was, he was about to seal his fate when his pride wouldn't allow rumors to circulate. After an alert from a Philly Crime Update Twitter account revealed that a man had been shot numerous times in West Philly, various crews would say that Hop Out Blick was the victim and that they had carried out the crime. But the next day, Blick went on live to let the world know that he was alive and well.
Bro, you see how they trolling though? Like, niggas really jerking right, bro. Yeah, they jerking right, bro. They scattered, bro. What? Nah, bro, that's not gangsta, bro. They scattered, bro.
Whether or not this revealed his location, it only took 8 days for the cops to close in, and both he and Tyree Lennon were taken into custody. Once the police had them where they wanted, they were charged with 2 counts of murder, attempted murder, robbery, and illegal gun possession. If convicted, the 2 men are likely to spend life in prison. But what most people didn't know at the time was that
he did what?
almost immediately after he dropped his most vicious tracks, which dissed his dead enemies, Hop Out tried to launch his contingency plan with a post to his Instagram that acted as a disclaimer. I do not have any involvement in drugs or sales of drugs, nor partake in any involvement in street crime, he wrote. This account is strictly for entertainment purposes only, but this won't
Don't take my words.
Exactly wash when you consider that recently, Blick unveiled a music video from inside the prison, where his old persona is still on full display. In the process, he's likely jeopardized whatever defense his team is building in the process. However, he's hardly the only rapper whose own youthful exuberance and decision to blend his real-life crimes into his music videos has had a terrible outcome. Just look at the tragic story of Tay K. Born Tamor Trevon McIntyre, Tay K first picked up a mic at the tender age of 14 as a member of the Daytona Boys in his adopted hometown of Dallas, Texas. Originally from Long Beach, Tay and his sister were forced into foster care due to a fractious relationship with his mother, who, according to the rapper, was a member of the Baby Insane Crips. Left to fend for himself in Texas, Tay K joined an Arlington branch of the Hoover Crips, and before long, he was implicated in a whole host of gang activity. In 2015, he had his first brush with the law when he was placed in the passenger seat of fellow Daytona boy Eric Jamal Johnson's car.
Hey, let me tell you something. We all know about this story. We all know about this story, bruh. We all know about the race. Listen, I think I was in high school. When was this? I think was I in high school for the race? No, I was outside of high school. I think I was in college for the race when that was happening.
As Johnson gunned down a college student. Johnson was later sentenced to 44 years for the murder, while TK avoided prosecution. But another crime was about to put him on the map and lead to his strange career trajectory going down in hip-hop history. Back in 2017, the Texas-based MC, who was just 16 at the time, stood accused of murdering Ethan Walker in cold blood after a home invasion went wrong. Later, he cut off his ankle monitor and went on the run to evade the cops. But rather than just disappearing, he informed the whole world of his plans. On March 27th, TK tweeted, "This house arrest, 12 is gonna have to catch me on Hood." From there, TK chronicled the experience of being a wanted fugitive on his viral track, The Race, which reached number 44 on the Billboard charts and was later certified platinum. Seen holding his own wanted poster in the music video, this track made him the first rapper to ever make a worldwide hit while legitimately being on the run from the cops. But his crime spree didn't end there, and as he travels from Texas to New Jersey, he allegedly killed 23-year-old Mark Saldivar and attacked 65-year-old Oni Pepe. After being apprehended in New Jersey, TK was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to 55 years in prison. During the trial, the lyrics and visuals behind The Race were admitted as evidence for the prosecution, and despite his attorney's efforts to clear his name, this was one situation he just could not outrun.
Man, that attorney was just there for a check. He wasn't gonna try and fear him. That boy was not gonna be free. That attorney was a prop. Okay, he was not there for you. He was there for the other team. You understand me? You were cooked from the start.
Tay agreed to participate in the robbery.
Take your hand off his shoulder like you care.
Tay participated in a robbery. But he stood up here yesterday in front of you and in front of this court and accepted responsibility for what he agreed to do and what he participated in, and pled guilty to the robbery by threats using a gun, threatening somebody with a gun in counts 3 and counts 4. And the boys were supposed to come in and hold everybody off.
Look at Auntie in the corner. Boy, you bullshit.
And TK had a bag. It was going to get the money and the drugs from under the couch. Well, that's not what happened. Everything went tragically wrong in there.
As it stands, he'll be 74 years old when he's released from jail, but he hasn't given up on having his conviction overturned.
Nigga, how old?
Everything went tragically wrong in there.
As it stands, he'll be 74 years old when
He'll be 74 years old when he get out? Oh, Lord have mercy.
Tragically wrong in there.
As it stands, he'll be 74 years old when he's released from jail, but he hasn't given up on having his conviction overturned. Taking to Twitter in 2023, he wrote, "I'm at war within. I feel like a hamster here. They're literally treating me like a ferret in here." Previously, TK has also rallied against the length of his sentences and said that prejudice was behind it. "I really need just one chance at adulthood," he tweeted. "I bet if I was a little white kid, they wouldn't have given me no 55 years for a crime I was alleged to play the most insignificant role in when I was 16. They would have argued that my mind wasn't fully developed and gave me rehabilitation and a second chance at adulthood. One of my co-defendants was a white girl who was 16 just like me," he declared. "They didn't certify her as an adult, but they certified me and Pimp as adults. Pimp got 30. I got 55. She ended up getting 10 years of probation without no deal. That girl at home right now." Amid asking Kim Kardashian for help to free him, TK's occasionally active X account has also been—
I have seen it all. I have seen it all. Let me get
asking
this
Kim
right.
Kardashian
You gonna try to tag Kim Kardashian to help you? I have seen it all. This is not a real world we are in. This is a fictional realm. Everything that we are witnessing right now is not real because I can't believe this nonsense. You gonna tag Kim Kardashian? Wasn't she just taking dick from Drake? Yo, this is not a real place. This is not a real place. She just
for help to free him. TK's occasionally active X account has also been used to discuss the violence that he's been around in the 5 years he's been behind bars. "A dude in the cell by me killed his cellie with a tray and stood on his head. Whoa," he said in January of 2023. And even though his attempts to be freed are being largely ignored by the law, TK has insisted that he's renounced the life of crime and that the merciless man in the race video no longer exists.
Like, I'm in jail. I don't know. If I do get out, I know if I do get out, I know I'm home. I'm done robbing, getting licked. I'm not doing none of that.
For TK, his links to the street meant that he never really got to reap the rewards of his blossoming career. Perhaps if he had the chance to escape via his rhymes, he wouldn't even—
No, Furry B, but you gotta understand, just, I know what she was doing, the whole prison reform thing, but just think about who we are asking right now. Just think about that. My guy, you talk to Attorney Crump. Yes, I know about Attorney Crump. Talk to him. Tag him. You gonna tag Kim Kardashian? She just took dick from Drake. What are we on right now?
even be in the predicament he's in today. But sometimes, the street life follows you all the way into the charmed existence of a platinum-selling hip-hop star, and that same tendency towards self-snitching can put you in a whole lot of trouble. If you're a hip-hop fan, then you'll be aware of who Lil Durk is by now. A leading figure in Chicago hip-hop, Durkio became known as the voice of his generation. But this wasn't without heavy losses. Most notably, the passing of his dear friend and O-Block General King Von, a signee to his OTF label, who was killed in Atlanta following a confrontation with fellow rapper Quando Rondo's entourage.
I'm thinking it's some regular individuals, so I'm letting this group come by. Next thing you know, a nigga hit me. Boom, bam. Man, like, I lie to you not, man. I lie to you not.
man wearing a shiesty like a hijab. What are you, brother?
It's like I had an out-of-body experience.
But while Quando remains alive and well, it seems like Dirk may have been more rattled by online comments than he acted and set out on a plan to get his revenge. After the internet relentlessly urged him to slide.
Y'all, listen. I know the work Kim Kardashian has done. I'm just having fun with it because look at who we looking at for help. Is what I'm saying. Okay, that's literally all I'm saying. I know what she did. I know what she has done to help a lot of inmates. And I respect it. I'm just saying, look at the person that did it, bro. I'm sorry. That's literally all I'm saying. I'm not talking about the work she's done. I'm just talking about the person herself. Because she can't run from her past.
And avenge King Von's death, a murder plot began to take shape. And just days after he was given the key to the city of Chicago, Dirk's life came crashing down after it was alleged that he greenlit a murder-for-hire plot that resulted in the death of his longtime foe, Quando Rondo's close ally Lil Pop, leading to him famously cry in anguish as the cops arrived.
He's pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car, frantic.
Dirk later sampled this in a song, making it clear how deep the bad blood between them went. They be on my page like Slide for Vaughn, I know they trolling me. Outside with y'all big homie, beyond, I keep them folks with me. Got it back in blood, y'all just don't know, that's how it's supposed to be. Called him for a feature just to kill him cause we know he's sweet. Later on that same track, he seemingly referred to Lil Pop's death when he said, "You better do what Nardo said, cause people die for pumping gas." A clear sub about how Pop was killed at a gas station. Another verse of note was his contribution to Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy with Babyface Ray, a song which prosecutors said featured him recounting how the killing of Lil Pop came about. Told me they got the Addy, go go. Got the location, go go. Green light, go go go. Dirk raps in the song. Look on the news and see your son. You screaming no, no. But the self-snitching wasn't limited to music either. During an appearance on Academics' Off the Record podcast, recorded after Pop's passing, Dirk slyly said that all of the Slide for Vaughn discussion had died down for some weird reason.
You be in the comments a lot? They kind of chilled out a little bit. Yeah, though. We different in Iraq. I feel like you're speaking of parables. I'm trying to like decode it a little bit, but it's... we have nothing to do with nothing. I'm saying, that's like me just claiming something I want to.
Fast forward to now, and a murder-for-hire plot came together, with Dirk allegedly telling his associates that they shouldn't book no flights under no names involved with me. But when they headed
Yo, Furry B, don't kill me, bro.
to Cali to carry out the hit, they did so under one of his record labels' credit cards. Allegedly, the apparent assailants OTF Didi, Vonnie, and 072 Boogie head to California to meet another member by the name of Keon Grant. Intent on catching up to Quando and his crew, they tailed them throughout the day until eventually opening fire. Once they were snatched up by the feds, Dirk allegedly attempted to flee the country, booking flights to Switzerland and Dubai, but was captured before he could successfully escape. Since then, things have been looking grim for Dirkio, with claims that snitching was rampant in the OTF ranks, meaning that he may well be cooked. But it's clear that he's not going down without a fight, and among the main things he's trying to fight against is his music being admissible as evidence. In April of 2025, he released a video statement decrying attempts to use his bars and insisting that they were art. And since then, it has been ruled that prosecutors won't be allowed to do so following the public outcry against it. But not every rapper has a platform like Dirk's to get that word out. And all too often, prosecutors can form an opinion of the accused through their music and lyrics long before it even gets to the trial itself. With that in mind, we need these rappers, both aspiring and established, to be a little wiser about what they share. Because otherwise, they're just gonna keep giving the courts absolute home runs when it comes to presenting evidence. It's time for the era of self-snitching to end. Because if it can affect someone as big as Lil Durk, who knows who'll be next to have their lyrics read back to them in a court of law.
Exactly, bruh. It don't matter who you is. If you're not playing the game right, they gonna get you. They're getting a little bit too comfortable with their work, bruh. They don't understand that your actions really do have consequences. And when you are a rapper, Your actions not only have consequences, but they are also amplified on a high multiple. I'm not talking about 2-3 times. I'm talking about 7-8. Because you're in the limelight. Everyone gonna watch you. If you're going to choose the route of being a rapper, you need to understand your bars matter. And after watching this video, God damn it, your bars, they don't only matter, they are just crucial. Because say the wrong thing, you are cooked. You are cooked beyond belief, bruh. These guys out here literally telling stories about the things they've done or witnessed, or they're talking about something similar, but then there's a crime that happens and then they're a part of it, and look at the lyrics and it matches the crime setup. My point is, lie. That's my point. Lie. Lie and lie again, please. I can't deal with these dudes, bro. I can't. We can't deal with these dudes. Listen, Jordan, you know they're not gonna hush, so they might as well lie about their ish. Look at Fat Joe. Look at Fat Joe. He lied about 80% of his raps. Now look where he at. He good. Lie. Jesus, bro. Is that John Kabongo? Oh, look at that. Anyway. Lie, lie, and lie again. That's it, man. That's it. That's it. Because look at what you're doing with yourself at this point, bruh. It's kind of ridiculous. Ugh. That's just another video down, man. That was a hell of a video. I won't lie.
I don't live in present tense, so just over a Daytona. Girl, my life been like a kid drama. Walking to.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.